Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to another episode of your favorite poetry talk show. That is Eddie Vega.
And that is Chivirdunya.
I'm on the other side.
Oh, and so he's over there now.
And this is Words.
And shit.
The poetry show where we bring on a poet to feature them and have a conversation with so that you can get to know the person behind the poetry. Eddie, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great because I just had this awesome chicken with black bean sauce from like my favorite Chinese spot, which I won't tell you where it is or what it is because a lot of people don't like it.
Super secret.
And, whatever. But let me tell you what they told me. They said, do not be too timid and squeamish about your actions. All life is an experiment.
How zen, how profound.
I know, exactly. This is what I needed to change my life.
This poetry. Well, I just had
a fortune cookie.
I just had a little homemade cream of green bean soup, so I'm feeling hella healthy and fine right now.
All right.
With tequila on the side. Anywho, speaking of healthy and hella fine, let's talk about our poet that's coming up on tonight's show. Who do we got?
We've got a treat. All the way from Atlanta, Kyla Jenée Lacey, an expert third person and Tinder bio writer. She also dabbles in poetry and has been featured by Pop Sugar, In the Now, and Afro Punk. Her work has garnered awards upwards of 40 million views, and even a few celebrities follow her, but it's her cats that keep her humble. She is her mother's favorite daughter, which really works out because her mother happens to be her favorite mom. She's written for Huffington Post, BET, The Root, and viral statuses that were eventually stolen from her. She's got a book out and it's called Hickory Dickory Dock, I Do Not Want Your Cock. I'm not sure if she'll be reading from that today, but I have heard parts of it, and it is it's a children's book, but like for adults. So it's really, really good. Anyway, my first memory of Kyla is her carrying this canvas bag full of board games in the host hotel at Southern Fried back in Little Rock. I think that was 2015. But a recent memory is of her jumping up and down during a performance of Puro Slam's Loco Nuts poem.
Where we almost got a chair thrown at us.
Yes, exactly. It was a pretty amazing. She was one of the ones jumping up the highest. So I want to thank her for that. Is she here? Where's she at?
Kyla, where you at? Come join us. Be a part of this.
There she is.
Yes. Wait. Let's unmute her so that we can hear her fabulous voice. Hi. How are you?
Are you sure it was board games in that bag?
That's what I interpreted because I do remember at some point playing Taboo.
Because I do love a good board game. Okay, but I also love having other stuff in my bag, so I didn't.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I'm sure it was
I was going to ask what was in your bag.
I'm sure it was a potpourri of things.
Hot sauce. It's definitely hot sauce.
Why didn't I know you liked board games? We could have played when I was in Atlanta.
I love board games.
I love
board games. And another little known Kyla fact. I love arts and crafts. I paint and I'm like very Martha Stewart-y.
Okay, I'm going to put this on here because we're going to talk about board games a little later. But I do need to ask, how are your cats? How's Kit and Caboodle?
They're okay. They're not in the room right now because they don't know how to be respectful of Zoom calls. And the dog would be jumping back and forth. There's a dog here too.
Well,
so
just wanted to make sure the whole family was still safe.
Yes, I gave them some chicken and I ran and closed the door.
Cute. Well, let's go ahead and start this off the way we do every week and just hand the show over to you and let you spit some of your poetry.
Oh, hi, Amir. Thank you for the text. Thank you for being a great friend. Okay. Since I'm having a great hair day, I'm going to do this poem because I love this poem. My curls are kinky. They love to get wet. They love hot oil dripped all over them. They are gymnasts. They are capable of backflips and front twists. My curls have personality. They will flirt with your boyfriend. They don't like them like that because, see, my curls used to be shy and had to lie in middle school just to feel accepted. And I cursed the day that they were ever made to feel that they weren't beautiful enough because my curls are untouchable. So don't even try them. Don't go near them uninvited because they're homegirls. Coco and Shade will fight you if necessary because my curls are feminists. They don't play that shit. They sophisticated. They woke up like this. Okay, they woke up a little more like Frederick Douglass, but that's okay because they like to be free to and ship it. Because see, my curls have personality. They violate dress codes. They like their baby hair with baby hair and afros. They are diverse. They listen to J. Cole and Fiona Apple, but please know that my curls are unapologetically black. They're activists. They're not pretty for black curls. They're not team dark or light skin. They don't give a fuck about colorism. They acknowledge that there were a couple of continents involved in their evolution, but they don't claim that shit. They're not hashtag team mixed chicks. My curls aren't racist. They have blonde friends. They don't need Allure magazine or Vogue to tell them how to be, but trust my curls are into fashion. They love silk scarves and cute little hats. They hate Kim Kardashian because she will try to appropriate their fullness and body and curves and say she was born with it naturally. Bitch swerve. My curls love built-in pillow talk. They stay on my mind and yours too. They got you wrapped around their finger. They a little bit conceited. My curls have been heartbroken before, but had to learn how to co-wash that man right out of them. They may put up a front, but in reality, my curls are soft, even when they're rough around the edges. My curls think for themselves. My curls are water and grease and brush, black girl blue magic. My curls aren't going natural. They are going back. My retainer, Chibi. I'm lisping because of my retainer. And a little high. They hunt black bodies for sport. Gold trophies. Call them badges. Gotta go into their neighborhoods, gotta go into their natural habitats, gotta go where the animals are at, gotta snatch them back from Africa, paid vacation, go on safari, call it administrative leave. It is important to take a break after a big snapping pictures of a noble savage feeding her cub, fattening it for slaughter. Her daughter doesn't go for as much on the black market, doesn't get as much media attention as killing a buck, doesn't cost as much as an NRA membership does. Everybody loves a good gun club. Everybody wants to get the next big kill. Cock guns and cock rifles. You know they always gonna get off. You know they always gonna go back to work. You know they always gonna return to the concrete jungle because you know what they say. If you do what you love, then you never work a day in your wild life. Okay. Retainer. It's a good time. It's a good time. I feel like I'm 15. It's fine. It's fine. I'm planning my quince. It's fine. Bitty bitty bomb bomb. Okay. Okay. The lexicons of the relationships that shape us like hexagons. Never read Stop and Watch Your Inner Circle. Who pretend to be a bunch of squares only trying to box you in. They'll be your untimely undoing in the end because laughter is always harder the farther it is from your face. I forgot that poem. And honesty was lost with the crayon box that told you that the only thing stopping you was your imagination, not your association. Guilty parties part with filthy hands parting, asking for forgiveness and forgiving another handout. Hands out of pockets are the most welcome, while hands across the face are the most received. These same hands cover my eyes trying to deceive me. Keep your friends close, but dispose of those who consort with your enemies. I loved real hard when I was hardly loved. It's my fault. I can't blame anyone for my bad taste. The bad taste in my mouth found out that I was laughed and talked about, but it's okay because I'm the one who put myself on display. Center stage so I could be aimed at. It's a shame that even when they hit me, they don't know they're doing themselves in because friends are nothing without each other. These knees weren't used for praying nearly as much as they were holding and supporting these legs up to the walk 1,000 miles for another. Guess that's why you've forsaken me. Feet blisters so I would mistakenly dare ask you to walk at least one in my shoes. I'd rather buy you a new pair. But you probably stare at me and kick me when I'm down with them, and now we are no longer down for each other. The scale of amicability when friends split vary as much as the lies that in it, so it's okay if you talk about me behind my back. Just tell the truth. Tell them all the things that I did for you. Tell them that positivity surrounded all of my actions and that negative ions had an eye on everything I tried to become. Take all your false charges, add them together, and we are still left polarized because you can't attract positivity with lies. Too bad you can't look me in my eyes down and you held me under. They say the true scale of a friend is one who will stick around when situations get thick. Well, you got thin, became non-existent, and disappeared. But I should have held myself in higher esteem. See, just because you hang around the same people doesn't make them your peers. So it's my fault. I'm the one to blame for sometimes having bad taste in friends because see, friends and foes start with the same letter and they both can F you in the end. Chibi, should I do one more? Okay. I'm gonna do my best though. Burp it out or something. I don't think that works, but the open hand from a lover hurts a little bit more than the closed fist from an enemy. Tastes a little too familiar, too close to home, too close to childhood. Get your kids before someone else does. Put them back in their place, cowering quietly in corners, suffering in silence, trying to have nothing to cry about. Raising your voice is important in raising a child. Call it loving out loud. Treat me like a child. One who does not listen, one who needs discipline. If you never learn your lesson, then you are doomed to be repeated. Daddy called. He heard about that poem I wrote for my ex-boyfriend, demanded his number, wanted to talk to him. I wonder if he wanted to pass down words of wisdom, trade secrets. I couldn't understand why he was so angry. Maybe he was just jealous. Didn't I learn how to be loved the way he taught me? Wasn't I finally obeying? They say a girl learns how a man to treat her from her father. Didn't I seek his likeness in my lovers, attempting to recover fragments of my broken childhood and my bold smile? He and Daddy both drove Cadillacs. Both drove me crazy. Both exhausted me, both gaslighted me, both showed me that putting your foot down can easily backfire, both showed me that sometimes love was about accepting apologies you were never given and that sometimes it hurts. Daddy said, it's the thrill of the chase. He would have been proud at how fast I finally ran away. Dance with my daddy, dance with my man. Both taught me how to tiptoe around their tempers. So much in common I could have taken on both their last names and still had the same ending. Yay for the fake clapping noise.
We do what we can. We do what we can. Before we jump into the conversation, I just want to remind everybody that is watching live on Facebook.
I love you.
That you can be part of the conversation. So use that comment section, send your love, ask your questions that you want, that you would like Kyla to answer. That doesn't mean she's going to answer them. She made that clear earlier.
Just so you know, Kyla, people are twerking all over this comment page right now.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah.
They know my spirit.
There's a lot of twerking.
Poets twerk too.
And your gold hoops accent your poem, by the way.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm seeing that from Akeem.
These things are happening. So let's get into it. So I just want to ask, like you mentioned earlier, like you're at your house. You have a lovely house. You have hosted me. Thank you.
I have in my fixer upper, sometimes more upper. I mean fixer than upper, but yes.
Yeah. So how are you doing in times like these right now? Like
I lost a few college shows, and that's like a lot of money. So
yeah.
But I'm okay. For a little bit.
What are you doing to like mentally stay?
Yeah,
okay?
the first couple of like weeks, I was like, wow, and I like made a garden, and it was like painting, and there was like, oh, I should do this, and and then I hit a lull. I had a little bit of a lull, and I was like, oh, Kyla, come back, and so now I'm back.
Now back to the gardening.
Yes.
Zen moments.
Yes, I didn't finish my bathroom, but I did start it.
Well, you might have more time because
yes, it's only been like a month and a half. It's been like completely.
I don't think we're gonna get out of this anytime soon. And
I'm taking the scenic route to home improvement. I'm taking the scenic route.
You're the Atlanta mayor and the Georgia governor aren't talking to each other, right? Yeah.
I think probably part of it too is the indignation. How dare a Black woman defy me? But I mean, he stole the election anyway. So
I mean, real talk. So you mentioned earlier that you like a lot of working artists, like you lost some college gigs with this shutdown. So you do primarily make your living as a touring and working poet.
I do. It's a very weird thing. I do, because it has moments where it's like, they paid me a lot, like a ridiculous amount of money. And then there's times that I'm like, can I please have some more? It's such a wild ride. It's literally, not to put anybody in my business, but I mean, there's been times I've had $10 in my account, and there's been times I've had 10 grand in my account, and both of those things have happened. So it's a wild ride. It's definitely you know, feast or famine sometimes, for sure, for sure. Like,
Mhm.
Are
I'm
you
not
still
gonna
getting
lose my
invitations?
house. You know, that's how bad it's been at times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And are you still getting invitations to like virtual ones to do
So,
shows?
you know, things are the college circuit is so like up in the air right now.
Hmm.
So they're still trying to like, you know, do stuff. And I have some, you know, ideas and things that I'm hopefully gonna, you know, do. I was also doing people's homework, which is so unethical. Because I'm like very anti-plagiarism, and then I'm like, I'm gonna sign here, check the student conduct, yes. But I should be okay. You know, I mean, there have been opportunities that have definitely been knocking in my door a little louder than previously. So
Hmm. So for this month, we've been really focusing on like in our conversations the like business of poetry,
and
right?
you had Amir on last week.
Yes, yes, Amir representing the like producers and organizers, and so
And he
for
does a little poetry.
he sometimes he
Yeah,
spits some
he's kind of
poems.
good a little
You know,
bit if
he's
you're
got a
like not
couple.
listening.
He's got a couple. So for those that don't know what life as a touring poet was like before the pandemic, can you talk a little bit about like what that kind of like lifestyle living entails? You know, what is it like?
um You know, even when I have like down slopes, I think I do it better than a lot of poets. Um, you know, it's very weird when people are like, "Oh, I want to be a professional poet." I'm like, "Why?" Like, and it's not like you know, like taken from me. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not, and not to be a jerk to people, but it's not something that everybody is going to be able to make a living from.
Mhm.
Um, it's you know it definitely has amazing moments, right? Like it's weird that it's like that is weird. And I've even been recognized a few times, which is like, you know, kind of weird. But then I'm like,
Mhm.
I've been to Texas, shit, like maybe 20 times, who knows. um and I was able to take my mom on a really, really cool trip to Hawaii on points. I was broke as fuck too, which is hilarious, but we made it work. I literally $200. I was able to. The flight was $11 each round
Yes,
trip.
Very
that's how
nice.
you do
I
it.
had so many points, and then I was diamond with Hilton, so they like fed us the whole time. I was like, ha, they don't know I'm poor. You know, so it was like, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, and she was surprised because she literally didn't know until we got to LA where we were going. So there have been like amazing moments where it's like, wow, people really paid me money to talk. But they're, you know, I've cried in the airport or two.
Mm.
Um, I have woken up too many times at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I am not a morning person. I've cried at yeah, I said that already, but gate agents, like all of that. So
Mhm.
I have endured some of the worst driving conditions. I've spun out in Minnesota. I've experienced interesting racism, because each region has their own little spicy kind of racism. Boston is the worst.
Okay.
It's the wickedest. Um, I've experienced super nice people in like the weirdest places that I didn't expect people to be like super nice, Iowa and Wyoming. Um, I've driven across New Mexico, Four Corners. Like I've been able to see so many amazing parts of the country
Mhm.
that on my own too, like Maine, like what, like I've been like four
What's in
times,
Maine?
but I've been like four times, right? I hit a deer in Maine. I did, and I cried. And I almost hit a cat. And you guys know if that would have happened, it would have been over.
Mhm.
So, snowstorms, mountains by yourself.
Mhm.
I got caught on Bighorn Mountain by myself, and I was pretty sure that was it. So yeah, I don't think people realize like it's a lot, like it's a lot, And then you're like, you do all of this, you're like, I hope they like me,
Yeah.
and so yeah.
How do you decide? Because someone's asking, how do you decide what poem you're going to share at each particular?
Sometimes it's like which one I remember. Um,
Real talk.
sometimes it's I want to try this one because it's new, or I'm feeling this one. Sometimes I know just like what people would like, and I kind of work from there. So it really is. I guess people are like, I pull from the ancestors. Like the ancestors don't want nothing to do with me. But
Have
I
you
think
ever had
that's
like a
like
poem where
what
you like,
what people are expecting is like there is some sort of divine, and it could be. I'm just not receiving it at least consciously. Who knows? So.
Yeah.
but have you ever had that one where it's like, what? That one worked here? Like,
Oh, I have. So the manual is such a popular poem, and I'm like, why do people like that poem? Um, and like, yeah, that one is one that I was very shocked that, like, whenever I do that one gets like, um,
A lot of response.
yeah, that was one like my mom loves that one,
Mhm.
um, and yeah, that was one that I was kind of like,
Mhm.
about.
So let's talk about a poem that has recently exploded. Because you're one of the poets too that has kind of, again, for lack of a better term, exploded on social media.
I think I might have the most viewed poem of the 21st century, but I
It
don't know.
it
But I
might,
think
it
I do.
might. I went and did a little research. So there's on YouTube. So
Yeah,
it's huge. It's out there.
yeah,
People
yeah.
know
And
you. How has that kind of notoriety? I mean, I guess it's kind of weird because we're living in this like shut down time to where, like, I don't know how much you can ride that wave, but like, how has that notoriety and that kind of like worldwide spread affected life, you,
I
career,
deal with
it?
imposter syndrome sometimes, which people would be very shocked to
Mm-hmm.
know about me. Um, so it's kind of like I've gotten some amazing like possible opportunities, and I'm like, can I do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I'm able to do this. Like, I don't know if I'm able to give them what they want. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things too, because it had two waves, and so this was a second wave. It's like Corona. Um,
Except we're still on the first one.
right. um, but one of the things was the first time there was definitely way more negative experience with it. Um, and it was like weird different demographics like had a different approach to how they treated me and my work.
Mm-hmm.
um Racist white men were very like in my inbox and like you're a bitch, or and I'm like, yeah, you finally figured me out. Welcome to the club, everybody knows.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, or they'd say something like overtly sexual as if they were going to fuck the activism out of me or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, get out of here. Um, with um, racist white women, they felt personally attacked. And I was like, Barbara, I don't even know you. Okay. I don't even know you, Barbs. Okay. Love the hair. Love it.
You should maybe, like look into
Right,
that
right.
feeling.
So it's like, Republicans and guns. I said, I mentioned none of those in my poem. No, said none of those words. So they took it very personally.
Mm-hmm.
Black men didn't feel like I deserved to be tagged to my own work. And they
I
were,
saw that thread.
yes, that happened a lot, as you know. And that was kind of disappointing to deal with. And one of the things is there's this expectation because I'm an artist that I can get creative with my bills. And that's just not how things work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody was like, oh, because I was like, I just wanted to be tagged to my work. I didn't ask for money. As you know, people would be like, oh, I didn't make anything from the Right About Now videos.
Mm-hmm.
And the little money that was made went back into other videos for other artists. But people were like, oh, you're just money hungry. And I was like, no, bitch, I'm regular hungry. Okay. Like, you want artists to do everything for you and you expect us to get nothing in return. MLK still needed MILK. And so there's this expectation that my labor is free, and it's not. And when people, supporting Black businesses, supporting Black artists is supporting Black businesses. And there's this disconnect that people think, oh, it's fine, it's free, it's on the internet. Somebody even watermarked my work and blocked me. I had somebody really loud.
So I'm hearing there's a pros and cons to all this fame and notoriety.
I'm sorry, I tangent. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, so there was definitely a lot of great things, and people were super kind, and I don't ever want to not mention that people were really sweet, and somebody sent me some edibles, and thank you, and people would donate, or like people were really kind, and it was nice to finally put in so much work and finally see some sort of acknowledgement from it.
So you're saying this time around it was a lot more positive?
Oh yeah, the second time around was way easier emotionally, and if nothing else, it just kind of, as you guys know, I have a penchant for going back and forth with people in the comment section. But
hashtag clapback queen.
Right. Listen, people don't know. And I'm like, you guys think that I'm like witty for like 5 minutes a day? No, bitch, don't turn
Wait,
off.
Are you serious? Do people not know? Because I think people know.
Like, where did that come from? Like, but I've just learned to be like, all right, okay, it's yours. I'm not even going to argue with you about it. And then one thing that people, I think, was hard for me the first time is that I was way more funny on Instagram beforehand. And so it made me kind of shell myself and like, I'll give it to Twitter, I'll give it to Facebook, but I won't give it to you guys. Because it was this whole, this woke queenness. And I was like, that is not me. Like I am woke, but I like to sleep too. And I like to do ratchet shit with my hood rat friends. I like all of that. And I think that there was this immediacy and this need to box me in and make me somebody that I'm not. I'm multifaceted, and I'm able to be spectrum, and I twerk and speak different languages and shit, all of it.
So let's talk about because I tried to tag you on Twitter for the show, but then something happened. Like I couldn't find you.
Bah, se fue.
My phone is breaking up. What happened?
Yeah, like why weren't you on Twitter?
And then it's like fifth period. The teacher was just like
the teacher was in
a suspension.
Blame it on the teacher.
And it's fine. I'm back under Kyla _Lacey.
Everybody, pay attention.
Kyla J. Lacey
_Lacey.
Yes, Kyla J. Lacey.
Find her.
Is in the Twitter accounts in the sky.
Because you are again, I don't know how people don't know, but you are known for being pretty uncensored and pretty vocal about the things that you believe in, which but
I'm mostly right, so it's okay.
yeah, we can say that. So like you're definitely.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. My computer was doing some crazy stuff. I'm back.
Don't leave me.
Okay, I'm back.
So that's kind of gotten you into trouble in some corners, but I think also adds to the appeal of like, when we're, having this conversation with Kyla, we know we're going to get the real tea, right? We're going to get the truth and nothing but the truth.
You know what? And I'm not going to be shady, which is a departure from my norm. Too much, but I'll say this, you guys know that there's some things that have happened and I got accused of some things, and I tell you what, it's real interesting that the same people will say Kyla is brutally honest, won't believe me when it's time to believe me. So I have always been very upfront about who I am and the things that I say, and I am not afraid of an apology, as even Eddie would know. I am not afraid of an apology. I'm not afraid to admit I was wrong. I'm not afraid to admit I did some things. But you ain't got to lie on me, or as I like to say, because I'm a better writer than you anyway. So let me come up with a story.
Come at me.
Yes.
So, again, you're very vocal about the issues that you're passionate about. And right now, like,
I love this format, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
And then, right now we're living like outside of the pandemic, we're living in like a huge social justice kind of like revolutionary time where, I think it is because people don't have work right now that they're like, okay, I no longer have the excuse of like, well, I can't, I have to go work to feed my family, are now out and really like trying to push for these changes. You live in Atlanta.
I do, hotbed.
Which is a hotbed. What is activism looking like in Atlanta right now for those of us that aren't there? And then how are you kind of balancing that with like staying safe in a pandemic?
I've been in those areas so many times, so it's kind of just like, oh, they're there, and I'm not like driving right now, so I'm like, right, from here. I'm kind of on the outskirts, as you remember, Chibi. So it's not like I'm like right there, but I do know like some of those areas are always kind of there's always something going on. And one thing about Atlanta is filled with educated, smart, capable. There is a division here. There is, north of I-20, south of I-20, that kind of thing. So there is some definite division here. And I mean, nothing else. Like I heard the fireworks every day, and I was like, okay, I get it. Okay, you hate us. That's enough. I get it.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of division within the community?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Or is like a colorism maybe too, or
no. I mean, as in Atlanta, as a general statement, no. Black people, colorism, yeah. But as a general statement, people in Atlanta aren't like, hey, Black light-skinned person, love it on you. No, yeah.
So I want to get to some of these questions from the audience, and I just found something out. So you have a background in history?
I have a degree in history. I was originally a foreign language major.
Okay.
And I was like, fick das, or as the German would say, fuck that. And then I switched to history, and I have my degree in history.
So we have two great questions about your work and your writing. So the first one is, how does your background in history inform your writing?
So I'm very research-based. I like to be correct, as you guys may know. But I'm very research-based, and I like to make sure that if I am doing a poem about like white privilege for me was, yes, appeal to an emotion, but it was also about, I'm going to give you these, these facts. I want to give you this information. I want you to be knowledgeable. The way that my brain thinks is, I don't know if I'm more right-brained or left-brained. I'm kind of like a really interesting dichotomy of creativity and analytical skills. And so I'm very much interested in the why and the how, and I think history, is important in dissecting how things happen. I think what a lot of times people say things or slavery's over, and it's like, aren't you still wearing a Confederate flag? Like, and so just analyzing the logic and knowing that history does not exist in a vacuum makes much more sense to me, and that's what comes out in my poetry. And then as a foreign language major, and so I studied words, and so it was kind of like, I need it. I got all of them, like the tools to do the poems.
And I noticed that on white privilege, it's a very educated poem.
I mean, thanks, Eddie. You're a teacher, so that's like
it has a lot of like little tidbits in there. How long did it take to write it?
So
you almost ran cross-eyed there.
I did. I remember that it was warm out when I was writing that poem. I remember, but I was in Florida when I was writing that poem, so it could have been December. But I know that I moved to Atlanta that summer. I wrote the poem, and so I would imagine it was written earlier in 2014. Like the summer. I remember the first time I edited from my phone, it was still not completely edited, in November of 2014. So it sat for a while. I don't know.
It's been in the notebook.
That one took I think I do remember that part. I do remember that, that was definitely a poem that I researched and wanted to make sure I got it right.
Well, that's kind of like my second question then. Typically, how long do you go from page to stage?
Ooh. Honestly, it could be anywhere from I remember when I first started doing poetry. God, when I first started doing poetry, I was so cute and young and eager. And now I'm just, cute. And I could learn a poem in the same day. And it wasn't like perfect, but my poem Code Switch, which is one of my favorite poems, took years to learn. And when I mean that, I wrote Code Switch I remember I was trying to learn code switch in 2016, and I still have. I think I wrote that one. Code switch is that one's the one I did at Southern Fried final stage last year. Yeah, and that one's a really complicated. Yeah, it was last year, right? But it was a complicated poem because I switched voices, back and forth, and I say the same thing but in different ways, and so it's like my brain's like, I don't know what to do. So sometimes it's I don't owe you shit was like a week maybe, but then I that I learned that, but then that's also the poem I dropped the most, so go figure. So it's really spectrum, and that's even with the writing process. Like some poems like I can write an hour, like I wrote a poem, bitch. And some poems are months.
Yeah. Well, we have a question again about your work, and the question is, how important is accessibility to you in the creation and sharing of your work?
I mean, obviously people know me because my work has been accessible, but also part of that accessibility people don't understand is acknowledging who the author is, acknowledging who the artist is. Because say you do share some of my work, say you don't even think about it and you don't care if I get credit for my work. Say somebody does really like my work and they can't find me, and then they can't find other work. And then, and not only that, what people don't understand is there's a network of artists. You may not like my poetry, but you might like something else that you stand and write about now. And there's other artists that can be exposed just by acknowledging one artist.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's accessibility.
You're like, boom, I'm just gonna drop the pen right there, and I literally dropped the pen. Excuse me.
People are asking, and I mean, it's up to you, but
no, go ahead.
You're getting requests.
My mom watching.
I want you to do white privilege, but not necessarily. You don't have to do it right now. Maybe you can do it at the end.
I'll do it.
But yeah, the crowd is demanding it. You don't have to, but it's the crowd. You don't have to.
You still have one poem later. You still have your closing.
That was what I was going to end with. That's what I was going to end with.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so let's move on.
Get a copy and get all these millions of views ourselves.
Let's move on to some serious topics, okay? Board games.
Okay. Yeah. Board games.
Board games. So, what are your favorites?
Taboo is definitely my fave, and then Trivial Pursuit right behind it.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of interesting, though, that you, who are known for your comments,
yes,
and taboo is your favorite.
So that's really what poetry is, and I actually use taboo in workshops, and poets better not steal my ideas because I know y'all poets love to do it. Not y'all, but the others. But no, I use taboo in my workshops because one of the things about taboo is it allows you to think about metaphors and allows you to think about, because what a metaphor essentially is the alternate definitions of a word being used as a double entendre in a different way. So taboo makes your mind think of the other ways to express that word. And that's why I love taboo so much. Now,
did you do that maybe in your foreign language classes back when you were foreign language major?
No, we had derivatives though. So I did the etymology of the word egg in French today on my Facebook. Did you see it?
I saw, yes, love.
And so, because that was when we learned derivatives. So the etymology of the word egg, right? So l'œuf is the French word for egg. And when they were playing tennis, the French would write a 0, which would look like an egg. And so they would call it love, right? And then because the French love articles, it's spelled L'Oeuf, which means literally the egg. And so without the L, it's pronounced œuf, which means that it has also same derivative of the word ovary. And that is why we ovulate.
Ding. Do you listen to Away with Words? It's a podcast.
No, but that ironically, that was the name of my first poetry album. Because I had it was like a bird theme, so it was Away with Words.
So this is A Way with Words, and it's literally a dictionary editor and an etymologist that just take questions about language and where it's from and how we use it.
Because the nerd in me is yeah.
It's phenomenal. You need to go look it up.
Yeah.
Away with Words.
I love it. I love it.
Public Radio. In case you're that's 89.1 if you're in San Antonio.
It's true.
But,
It's true. So I don't know if you know this because we are board game aficionados here
Listen,
in
Timmy, it's
San
on.
Antonio.
It's on. Oh, have you played Mastermind?
No.
Somewhere around the house. Of course, Cards Against Humanity is great. Mastermind is great. So my friend turned me on to Mastermind. Is it's like a strategy game, and so it's like you have to like the person picks colors, and you don't know which colors they pick, and you have from 6 colors to kind of decide what their combination is.
Yeah.
And I was able to guess it really, really quickly, and he was like surprised at how quick I caught on to the strategy of the game. But I love it, and I love playing with other people because I know the strategy and they don't.
Yeah, we double down over here and like we play Risk for like 8 hours.
I've never played Risk. Okay.
You want to talk about strategy games?
We're gonna get on House Party, and we're definitely gonna do the trivia because I kick ass at trivia as well. I've always wanted to be on Jeopardy. Like I've auditioned for the show a few times.
Yeah.
I don't kick ass at trivia, but Crazy Face and Shaggy.
I don't know those games. You'll have to teach me.
No. You know Sarah Timmons, Crazy Face. That's her nickname.
Okay.
She's a trivia genius. Eddie plays trivia. Like we used to go.
We're actually on the same team.
Shaggy. We all used to go.
So next time I come to San Antonio,
trivia night.
This is going down. It's going downtown Julie Brown.
No, we've actually my Facebook memories are telling us we always go to the finals here in San Antonio for trivia, and it's our little Bodo Slam group basically who becomes a trivia team, and we're usually in the top 10. So
we don't
legit.
have that.
So we're very smart poets.
I don't go often, but when I do, I have the like musical theater trivia down. That's about all I can contribute. The one question. So the other thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because you made a post recently.
I did. Oh, geez.
About how much in your adult life you now love storage containers. Oh
my God.
I don't know if you know this, but like the Container Store is its own little version of heaven, like a place for everything and everything in its place.
And it's not just storage containers, Chippy. It's like stuff under the cabinets. Like I got somebody gifted me with a $100 gift card to Target, and I could have spent it on food, but I bought a wall tower for my bathroom, and I love it so much. And then like little like anything that helps with my terrible attempts at organization, like I am here for. Like little closet inserts. I love all of it. I love all of it.
Especially in the kitchen, like ways to organize the Tupperware and like your little spice rack.
My mom buys me Tupperware for Christmas every year. Like
she knows you.
And I have like tons, and I love it.
Yeah, we it's a huge, I think, part of adulting is just the things for adulthood I did not anticipate were I just expected way more sex, way more money, ways to organize the Tupperware
and and I did not expect, however, how much I would love.
It's a huge
part of what else? I didn't expect how much I love Tupperware and socks and long johns. Love a good long john. Love it. Because, traveling up north all the time and like Minnesota and terrible places that are like cold. Not saying that Minnesota is terrible, but
cold places. Yeah, I think I only own one pair of long johns because Texas.
I love long johns. And Chuck Taylors. Didn't see myself loving those that much. Love
really?
It's my dad made me wear them, and I was like, this isn't cool. Like all the kids are wearing Filas and Reeboks and shit, and I'm wearing Chuck Taylors.
See, no, Chuck Taylors were definitely like my teenage. I still have my first pair of Chucks that I got. I'm not gonna say almost 20 years ago.
I wear Chucks to prom.
Me too. Nacho cheese orange Chucks to prom.
Mine were like a turquoise because my dress was like a turquoise, like that color right there.
I feel like we're bonding.
I had the Pro Wing version, the Payless version of Chucks.
Oh yeah.
That's all we could get, and they fell apart a lot. That story.
I feel like we're getting to know you really deeply.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
which is basically what the show is about.
Yes, I love the format. I love it.
Now, if you could, well, Chippy sounds like you had a follow up actually to that.
Not a follow up. It was just another topic of conversation because you did post. I don't know if it was today, or yesterday.
I was posting, Chibi.
About
so.
I know, but you did
And
post.
I like my see your memories came up about when I said that Beyonce is a great actress because she's been acting like Jay-Z was cute for 20 years. Yeah, I wrote that like July 22nd last year. And then the very next day, I got stung by a bee. That is a true fucking.
Oh no!
The very next day, I've been stung by a bee. Like I've been stung by a bee since I was a kid. And the very next day, I'm walking out my house.
She got you. But the post that I was referring to was about another singer. Was Amy Winehouse?
Amy Winehouse.
Yes.
Today's the 11th anniversary of her passing.
She's near and dear to my heart, and clearly also to yours. Can you talk about why?
Loved Amy. We were very close in age and birthday, and like a week apart in age, less than that. I was in a very abusive relationship in my early 20s. I was in a very abusive relationship, and her music really, really like helped me. And I remember I was sitting in the Boston Market parking lot and eating a quarter chicken dart with turkey gravy and drinking a lemonade and eating a cookie, crying in my 98 Honda Civic, Hunter Green. I was listening to Tears Dry on Their Own, and I was like, I should just leave him alone. I should just leave him alone. I should just leave him alone. And and I remember like I'd heard Rehab first, and I was like, it's not my thing. And then I heard Love Is a Losing Game, and I was like, And then I heard Back to Black, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I remember sitting at my computer in my apartment, the dial-up internet, and I was just obsessed, and I downloaded all of her songs illegally. And I was so obsessed, and I was like, whoever she is, she knows me. Like, she fucking knows me. And I just hope that somebody feels that way about my art. You know, like, that would be the greatest honor, because I felt like she knew me. Like, what the fuck? And even still, like, her music, I always quote, you know, I don't understand why do I stress a man when there's so many bigger things in him ahead. And I'd be like, yes, bitch.
Truer words.
And I loved, you know, not even just her melodic composition, like she was amazing at that, but even just lyrically, she was a genius, you know, like Love Is a Losing Game. And then two things. So one, she was able to take the song Tears Dry on Their Own and turn it into it was originally a slow tempo song.
That version on Linus is so much better than the original.
That's my favorite. And it's so funny how much I love the Tears Dry on Their Own version. And then I heard the one from Linus, and I was like, it's no fucking competition. So true story, last July, I talked to Busta Rhymes on the phone. It's a true story. But that wasn't even the kicker. He was in the studio with Salaam Remi. And for those who don't know who Salaam Remi is, Salaam Remi produced half of Back to Black. And I got to talk to him on the phone, and he was like, yeah, I've seen your work. And I got off the phone and I cried, and he retweeted me the other day. But I got off the phone and fucking boo-hoo cried. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. But it was like early last July, and I talked to him on the phone, and I like said, I was like, you produced? Because like Busta Rhymes was like, oh yeah, I'm in the studio with Salaam Remi, you know. He was like, you know, and I was like, Amy Winehouse, like, and he was like, you know, like, I don't care about nobody else, Amy Winehouse. Yeah. And he was like, I was like, yeah, we were a couple days apart, and he was like, Virgo energy, yeah, sis, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, this is the most rewarding moment of my life. And Lenny Kravitz DM'd me.
Never mind the 4 million views.
Lenny Kravitz and Billy Porter, those two were like. I broke my phone. I broke my shoe with Lenny Kravitz, and I broke my phone with Billy Porter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's how you know if you break something.
No, I'm proud.
Did you watch the movie, Amy?
I did. I
How
cried.
hard was
I
that?
did. Of course I did. I was
Okay.
upset. Of course.
Okay. That was like I remember going to the theaters and watching that and it
I
just
watched it.
being
Yes, I watched it by myself and I cried because I'm, thug passion. That was
yeah.
the passion part of the thug.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like we just saw a little piece of your
You
heart.
did, Judy, and
Oh,
you stayed
I
in my
love it.
house with the cats.
Which, if you all don't know, she has two cats, Kit and Caboodle. Kit looks like a stick, and Caboodle looks like a noodle.
No, Kit is thick.
Kit Kit is
Kit
thick,
is
and
thick.
Caboodle looks
Is a noodle,
like a
correct?
long, thin noodle.
Yes, and
and the
Caboodle
dog's
is
name?
a sweetheart, and Kit is an asshole, or just a regular cat.
They are what they
I
are.
used to have 3 black cats, and people are like, you got 3 black cats? No, it's just one. He's just magical as fuck. He's just running in a circle. It's fine. It's the same cat. It's fine.
Oh yeah, they are wonderful creatures.
They
and
are.
also
And there's a dog
annoying
here,
little
too.
shits.
There's a dog named Mega, and he's my nephew, but I take care of him because my roommate's never home. So, yeah, and he steps on my chest and sniffs my face and sniffs my butt just like he's my dog. So, yeah,
Traditional dog shit.
yeah.
Well, I feel like this conversation has been really like it's really been to the core of like what we try to do, and it is get to know the poet behind the person behind the poetry. Could you appease your fans who are begging for it and close us out with one more poem?
Okay, I guess.
I guess.
All right, let me get some water. I got some.
Oh, okay. We won't look. Nobody looked. Every turn.
There's no way to like sexy way to drink water in front of a crowd of people. I've always said that.
I mean, you can just.
Well, no, I'm drinking Coke, so.
We out.
Okay. I have, yeah, especially since the retainer and all that. I'm like learning to live with it. It's just for 6 months. So I took a time. We learned your French. We learned your English. We learned your Spanish. We learned your Dutch. We learned your Portuguese. We learned your German. You learned our nothing. You called us stupid. That's white privilege. And I'm sure it probably hurts for you to hear those 2 words, kind of like gunshots and explosions from those commissioned to protect you, whisking past your ears. What is white privilege? It is the only 5 decades of legal acknowledgement expected to correct 400 years of white transgression. It is crack versus cocaine. Blacks receiving almost 20% longer sentences for the same exact offenses, or like, for instance, a black man without a record is less likely to get a job than a white felon. Well, maybe it's because we're lazy and want to work hard enough. Like, what the fuck? 400 years in the same field literally is an incredible resume builder. Is Katrina answering the government's prayers of eugenics, Dick Cheney going fishing the next day, Condoleezza on a shopping spree, Bush in San Diego, but Kanye is the one you called crazy because like it only took the USA 2 days to get aid to Asia, but 5 for FEMA to get to Canal Street and Esplanade. It is the one black kid who beat the shit out of the odds, but only thanks to Sandra Bullock, Michelle Pfeiffer, and the White Shadow, so now we all can make it. It's the only time thousands of white people are cheering for the black kid to win is in a stadium. It is you looking at me crazy if I told you to go back to Europe, even though we didn't have a say, and your great-grandparents came here voluntarily. It is you all of a sudden having a problem with immigration. Like, this isn't even your nation. How the hell do you discover some shit that wasn't even missing to begin with? Columbus, our traditions. Had white girls twerking in high definition with multicolored hair and purple nails, but it was ghetto when we did it. Or am I making you uncomfortable? Try a cramped slave ship. Oh wait, slavery is over now. It's just called the prison system. Cause like, you're not racist because you don't use the N-word, but y'all use niggas every day. What is white privilege? It is the acceptance of bombs over Baghdad, but not over Boston. It is European history being taught as a major and African as an elective. It is learning about my people only 28 days. Like, I'm not black every fucking second. It's every white boy who wants to fuck my brains out, not because I'm pretty, but because I'm pretty for a black girl. It is people thinking that Africa is one nation. It is the waving of the Confederate flag like you didn't lose the battle and then telling us to get over slavery. It is people saying that black people destroyed neighborhoods, but forgetting that white people have destroyed continents. It is every time I bring up my plight, some white man has to tell me that I'm crazy, but is kind enough to praise my English or say that we're all given the same opportunities, even though he has a family history of wealth And I don't even know my family history at all. It is a justification of police brutality. Like, what did that person do? Well, I'm sure it doesn't hurt as much when the victim doesn't look like you. It is people thinking that affirmative action is an unfair advantage instead of keeping the qualified from being unfairly disadvantaged or throwing out a qualified applicant because their name sounded too African American. It is Newports imported into Black communities, but Black boys exported for weed. It is big plastic asses that are called fat when we naturally have them. It is an Australian woman whose new classic of rap music. It is everyone who hears this poem dismisses all this truth I just spit as reverse racism. That is white privilege. Now that I'm lightheaded.
Because you bulldozed through that poem.
Nicolas Cage pillow?
Actually.
Chibi, you're so weird and I loved every bit of it.
Wait.
No, the other way.
Oh.
It was a white elephant gift. I think this is maybe the second time we've talked about it on the show. It was a white elephant gift, and it first arrived like this. And then my husband was like, "What is this?" It's Nicolas Cage.
He took Nick at the cage. Look.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the ironic part is I fucking hate Nicolas Cage.
Listen, you know.
But I love that pillow.
Nicolas Coppola.
That's right. That's right.
Also, Frida Kahlo looks like Beyonce a little bit, or Beyonce looks like, yeah, it's like a Bialo. It looks
a Bialo.
Yeah,
it's a painting my mom made.
Also, but didn't Beyonce dress as Frida Kahlo once, or did Blue do that? No, Beyonce did. Beyonce did. She did for Halloween.
You have to go research that now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna write a new poem now.
Akeem, because I know he should know.
Akeem's out here. He's been commenting.
I can't see the comments.
You'll have to go back on Facebook and scroll through them, but they are there.
Answer all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. All of them. That was Kyla Jenée Lacey, everybody, who please, we've written it into the comments section. You can absolutely tip her if you enjoyed her work at her Cash App. It's there.
I need to get my breast reduction.
Or she's got a website that's got a bunch of merch. Not only will you find her poetry book there, but she's got a fashion line.
I do have some stuff.
That's pretty legit. So go.
We're gonna add some more
read
stuff.
From the book. You got it.
Yeah, subscribe to my my online my webpage because I'm gonna release some stuff very soon. So.
Ooh, and you heard it here first.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exclusive. Thank you so much for joining us, Kyla. This has been a phenomenal hour.
I wish that I could see you guys in person, but Mexican beer. So.
That's all we got. All we got. So that was Kyla who's joining us this week. Eddie, who do we have coming next week?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Next week we have the former Poet Laureate of Houston. Amazing. She writes for Texas Monthly, which is one of my favorite magazines. We have Deborah Mouton, aka Deep. So make sure you come and stop by and check out this interview.
Deborah Deep Mouton from Houston, who is not only an amazing poet, but amazing organizer, amazing instructor, amazing mentor, amazing coach.
She writes more than poetry. She writes she writes fiction and stuff.
Yeah, so she'll be joining us. She was the Poet Laureate of Houston, like Eddie said. Again, this series we've been trying to focus on the business of poetry. So we brought you publishers, we brought you producers, we got you touring poets, and now Texas Poet Laureate. And that's going to be happening next week here on Words and Shit. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us tonight.